Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. It was the year 2019 when R. Kelly was convicted by the Hennepin County prosecutors with 2 counts of engaging in suspicious conduct with a female under the age of 18. The then 17-year-old woman with pseudonym Jane Doe alleged to have met R. Kelly while he signed autographs at the Minneapolis City Center in 2001. However, the woman reported the incident in 2019 when she was an adult. Jane Doe acknowledges that she did not only get an autograph from R. Kelly but also his phone number, which she later willingly called. Following that call, she was directed to R. Kelly's hotel room by one of his staff. The woman alleges that R. Kelly gave her $200 to dance naked for him and that he took off her clothes before he indecently touched her. She further alleges that R. Kelly gave her a backstage pass for the show despite the fact that she was below the acceptable 18-year and above entry requirement for the concert. We believe then and continue to believe the victim survivor as to what R. Kelly did to her in this case. We still continue to hold the unwavering position that he would likely be convicted of these charges if the case proceeded to trial, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office said in a statement. However, despite our belief in the victim survivor, we have decided to dismiss this case in light of the federal convictions of R. Kelly, for which he received lengthy federal prison sentences, and will likely spend the rest of his life in prison, he added. Though the attorney's office insists this was done in considerations with R. Kelly's federal charges and the subsequent lengthy sentences, it is also clear to us that R. Kelly's appeal arguments filed by his legal team have exerted a lot of pressure on them. The attorneys now know that with the current irregularities exposed and the evidence to the truth now available, the chances of winning in the trial are very slim. We have over time observed that the typical mindset in the United States attorneys' offices is to remain persistent and aggressive, an attitude that has been evidently pronounced when it comes to R. Kelly. They want R. Kelly badly, and one can hardly be fooled that dropping these charges was due to the mentioned considerations. The attorneys are in a panic mode and actually know that if they went on with the trial, R. Kelly and his legal team would prevail over it. As we continue to analyze R. Kelly's legal battles today, we have clearly observed that the trend of events is changing in R. Kelly's favor. It is obvious that a lot more truth has come to light, and the fact that both the New York and Chicago convictions could be overturned soon is no longer doubtable. It's definitely right for one to say that the dropping of the state charges is rather a continued assurance that R. Kelly will walk straight home when the federal charges are overturned by the appeal process. It's the right result for a number of reasons. The Hennepin County prosecutors showed appropriate discretion. We were ready to defend the case but are pleased we don't have to, R. Kelly's attorney Jennifer Bonjean said in a statement. Having keenly following R. Kelly's legal controversies over time, this is not a surprising development. We do recall that earlier this year prosecutors from Illinois Cook County also dropped charges against R. Kelly, though he remains in jail on federal convictions. It was just a day before R. Kelly was supposed to show up at a hearing relating to state charges that the Illinois County State's Attorney, Kim Foxx, announced that the Illinois charges against him had been dropped. She reasoned that this was not only because he is already serving a prison sentence following the federal convictions, but also because it would be a waste of the already scarce funds and court time. Borrowing a leaf from the majority of R. Kelly's alleged victims, one is right to say that these relationships were all initiated and propelled to the peak by the alleged victims themselves with support from their parents. R. Kelly is famous and has money. You do not have to be a genius to come to the correct conclusion that money was at the center of all his legal problems. We honestly can't comprehend any other reason why parents would urge their daughters to lie to men about their ages if not for financial gain. It is also worth noting that not all criminal charges go to trial. Undeniably, many charges are dropped prior to trial during negotiations between prosecutors and defense lawyers. But it is only the prosecutor who can drop such charges. Fortunately enough, we also know that prosecutors may drop a criminal charge if it is determined that the evidence against the accused isn't strong enough. Or, perhaps new evidence is found which undercuts the prosecution's case against the defendant. This is most likely what the attorneys dropping R. Kelly's cases don't want to admit. The dropping of charges is more likely to happen when a knowledgeable criminal defense attorney such as R. Kelly's lead attorney Jennifer Bonjean represents you. She has proved over time to have a vast knowledge about many factors which can weigh in against the prosecution's case, from insufficient evidence to lack of witness credibility and inadmissible evidence, all these being common setups in R. Kelly's trials. Frankly speaking, Bonjean has been able to argue that there was no basis for bringing a formal charge against R. Kelly in the first place due to forged and insufficient evidence. In R. Kelly's cases, evidence has been very poor and unreliable, and we have also evidently seen evil and illegal tactics being used in gathering evidence against him. Although the alleged victim in Minnesota, identified only as Jane Doe, issued a written statement through the office of her attorney Gloria Allred showing dissatisfaction about the development, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office maintained it was the right thing to do. As a surviving victim of R. Kelly, I feel sad about the fact that Hennepin County Attorney's Office in Minnesota decided not to hold him accountable for what he did to me when I was a minor, she said. If there had been a criminal trial, I would have been willing to testify against R. Kelly. Even though it wouldn't have brought any extra prison time for him, it would have given me closure, she added. I would think that Jane Doe is still very naive about the consequences of going ahead with a trial when the prosecutors don't have any credible evidence to back it up. Notwithstanding all these developments, many of R. Kelly's enthusiasts have always complained about the unfairness and injustice the judicial system has unleashed on him. We can, however, still attribute this very recent charge dropping to the pressure the government is now facing as a result of the unfolding evidence about several irregularities and the numerous lies by the alleged victims. This planned conspiracy to bring R. Kelly down should see most of the shameless anti-R. Kelly gang members, including the alleged victims, behind bars. We, however, should also keep in mind that despite this charge drop, R. Kelly still has a number of legal wars to fight, including the New York appeal process, which is just around the corner. For most of us who have scrutinized R. Kelly's trials in detail, we can confidently agree with his legal team that justice was not done to expectation. We remain optimistic that these irregularities and injustices will be looked at in detail during the hearing of his appeals. The dropping of the second case in a row is not just a sign that something was wrong in the first place, but also an early indication that R. Kelly and his legal team will prevail over this. Every other day, we see the truth about the unfairness to Kelly unfold, and probably as still fights to gain his freedom, more of this will come to light. It's just a matter of time. As we have always done, we pray for justice and fairness to be observed during the appeal hearings so that R. Kelly receives his long-awaited and much-deserved freedom sooner than later. We also can't wait to see the masterminders of this conspiracy to bring him down face the law and subsequently taken to prison. Bonjean has been able to unearth the irregularities and misinterpretations of the law that have marred R. Kelly's legal fights. The story is now short. R. Kelly is going back home. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.